Since the earliest dawns of discipline, the ancients taught that a warrior's vitality is not gifted by fate but forged, again and again in the silent fires of intention. In the philosophy of Hagene no Ishi, the will as unbreakable as tempered steel. Strength rises when the spirit refuses to surrender to exhaustion, when the flame inside burns brighter than the weight pressing upon it. Today, you and I stand at that forge. If you feel worn, drained, or stuck in cycles of fatigue, know this: a warrior does not seek escape. He seeks mastery. Every moment of weakness is a chance to sharpen the blade within. So, comment, "I rise." Subscribe if you walk this path with us, and thank you for being part of this growing brotherhood and sisterhood of warriors shaping themselves with purpose. Together, we train not only the body but the breath, the focus, the rhythm, the very essence of our Shin, the heart-mind that fuels endurance. This is your call to stand tall, reclaim your energy, and forge a new power within. Rhythmic sleep discipline begins with recognizing that the body is not a machine that can be pushed endlessly. It is a living rhythm, guided by cycles that crave harmony. When these cycles break, tiredness becomes constant, focus weakens, and the spirit feels heavy. Establishing a stable sleep rhythm means waking and resting at the same times daily, training your inner clock the way a warrior trains his stance. Steady, predictable, unshakable. Consistency signals your mind when to descend into rest and when to rise with clarity. Light, temperature, and routine all become part of this discipline. Dimming lights an hour before bed, lowering screen exposure, and adopting a calming ritual, such as breathing, reading, or stretching, communicate to the body that it is time to transition. Over time, these cues anchor your internal rhythm, making sleep a dependable ally rather than a struggle. By honoring the rhythm daily, your energy becomes more stable, mornings become less chaotic, and the mind settles into a calmer state. Rhythmic sleep discipline is not about more sleep. It's about aligned sleep, sleep that arrives naturally and leaves you renewed, turning rest into a deliberate practice rather than a neglected necessity. Once the rhythm begins to take shape, the next layer of rhythmic sleep discipline involves protecting your sleep window with the same respect a warrior protects his blade. This means identifying habits that weaken sleep quality, such as irregular caffeine intake, heavy late meals, overstimulation, or going to bed with unresolved tension. Each disruptor affects the quality of your rest long before you close your eyes. When the mind is overloaded, sleep becomes shallow. When the body is unsettled, rest becomes fragmented. Creating pre-sleep boundaries transforms your nights into a sanctuary for recovery. Avoid stimulants in the hours before bed, allow your last meal to settle, and limit chaotic or emotional conversations late at night. The environment must also support this discipline. A cool room, quiet atmosphere, and comfortable bedding create physiological signals that gently pull you toward deeper rest. This approach does not rely on forcing sleep. Instead, it removes the obstacles that prevent it. Rhythmic sleep discipline is the art of preparing your entire system for renewal. With consistent protection, your body learns to drop into restorative sleep more effortlessly, letting your energy rebuild without interruption and strengthening your resilience for the day ahead. The final layer of rhythmic sleep discipline is aligning your daytime habits so they support your nighttime restoration. Sleep is not an isolated event. It is influenced by everything you do while awake. Exposure to morning sunlight resets your internal clock, telling your body when the day begins and anchoring your energy cycles. Consistent movement throughout the day enhances circulation and hormonal balance, making nighttime rest smoother and more complete. Managing stress becomes vital because accumulated tension often carries into sleep, preventing the mind from fully releasing. Incorporating small recovery breaks during the day stops burnout from building, ensuring you don't collapse into bed exhausted but still wired. Even your emotional rhythm matters. Being overwhelmed, distracted, or overstimulated disrupts the natural descent into rest. Rhythmic sleep discipline encourages you to design your day with intention, maintain steady energy output, regulate overstimulation, and avoid letting fatigue pile up until nighttime. When your waking hours follow a balanced rhythm, your sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, and more aligned with your biological needs. With this holistic approach, your energy no longer leaks away during the day, but instead gathers strength, allowing you to wake with clarity, stamina, and renewed inner power. Energy-focused nutrition begins with understanding that food is not just fuel, but a form of internal strategy, a way of commanding the body's vitality. Just as a warrior would never enter battle with a dull blade, you cannot expect consistent energy if the foods you consume weaken your internal rhythm. The body thrives on balance, steady blood sugar, nutrient-rich meals, and consistent nourishment throughout the day. When you eat erratically, or rely on heavy, processed or sugar-loaded foods, your energy spikes and crashes, leaving you tired, foggy, and unfocused. Energy-focused nutrition teaches you to choose foods that stabilize your internal fire. Whole grains, lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats that burn steadily rather than explosively. Hydration also becomes a cornerstone. Dehydration alone can drain mental sharpness and physical strength. Eating mindfully, with full awareness of what you consume and how it affects your state, transforms your meals into deliberate choices rather than impulses. This approach does not demand strict dieting. It requires alignment, intention, and respect for the body's energy systems. When you begin to feed your body in harmony with its natural needs, your stamina rises, your focus sharpens, and your day flows with greater resilience. As you dive deeper into energy-focused nutrition, the emphasis shifts toward timing and awareness. Understanding that when you eat is just as important as what you eat. Skipping meals or eating too infrequently creates energy droughts, forcing your body to compensate in ways that leave you exhausted. Conversely, overeating or relying on heavy meals late at night burdens the digestive system and steals energy needed for repair and restoration. A warrior's feeding rhythm is steady, intentional, and aligned with daily demands. Begin your day with nourishment that awakens your metabolism. Choose balanced meals that combine protein, complex carbs, and healthy fats to keep your energy stable. Avoid relying on caffeine as your primary source of fuel. It masks fatigue instead of correcting it. Consider smaller, consistent meals if large portions make you sluggish. Track how different foods affect your alertness and mood. Some foods will lift you, while others will drain you. When you respect eating patterns that support stable energy, you strengthen your internal equilibrium. This discipline transforms your nutrition into a powerful tool, allowing you to maintain high performance without the constant highs and lows that sabotage your motivation and productivity. The final layer of energy-focused nutrition involves aligning your emotional and mental relationship with food. Many people eat reactively, out of stress, boredom, or habit, creating a misalignment between what the body needs and what the mind chooses. Emotional eating disrupts energy levels, creating cycles of guilt, fatigue, and imbalance. To break this pattern, you must treat food as a form of self-respect and strategic energy building. Slow down during meals, chew with intention, and remain present. This simple act improves digestion and increases the body's ability to extract energy efficiently. Learn to distinguish true hunger from emotional impulses. Build a supportive environment, keep nourishing foods easily accessible, and reduce the presence of tempting low-energy options that sabotage your rhythm. Preparing your meals or planning them ahead grants you control rather than letting cravings dictate your choices. Incorporate foods that boost long-term vitality, antioxidant-rich foods, iron sources, and minerals essential for energy production. When your nutrition becomes a conscious, disciplined practice, your energy no longer fluctuates wildly. Instead, it becomes steady, reliable, and deeply rooted. With this mindset, food transforms from a reaction to an intentional fuel source that strengthens your clarity, endurance, and warrior-like spirit throughout each day. Samurai morning activation begins with the understanding that how you start your day shapes the strength of your entire internal rhythm. The ancient warriors believed that the first moments after waking were sacred, a chance to command the mind, awaken the body, and set the tone for unwavering purpose. When you rise without intention, your energy scatters, your thoughts drift, and fatigue grows before the day even begins, he said. But when you rise with discipline, the morning becomes a forge, sharpening your awareness and igniting your inner fire. Samurai morning activation means creating a ritual that signals to your spirit. Today, I choose strength. Start with sunlight exposure to awaken your biological clock, followed by hydration to reawaken your system. Engage your breath with slow, deep cycles to pull your mind into clarity. These simple but deliberate actions tell your body that it is time to switch from rest to readiness. This ritual is not about perfection, it is about waking the warrior within you with consistency. By mastering the first 15 minutes of your day, you build momentum, break the chains of sluggishness, and step into your day with more focus, energy, and command. Once the body awakens, Samurai morning activation moves into activating the physical core of your energy. Samurai believe that a body in motion creates a mind in motion, and the first movements of the day have the power to shift your entire energy state. Light mobility exercises, stretching, or even a brief flow routine stimulate circulation, reduce stiffness, and clear the fog that accumulates from sleep. Movement signals to your nervous system that alertness and vitality are required. It does not need to be intense. What matters is awakening the body in a way that aligns with its natural rhythms. Pair your movement with intentional breathing, slow inhales, forceful exhales, to deepen your presence and ignite your internal heat. This combination stabilizes hormones, sharpens focus, and sets your mental state on a foundation of readiness rather than survival mode fatigue. You may incorporate cold exposure, a splash of cold water, or grounding techniques to reinforce your alertness. The goal is to transition your body from passive rest to active strength. When you commit to morning activation daily, your fatigue decreases, your clarity increases, and your mental resilience becomes stronger, turning your mornings into a reliable source of renewed power. The final layer of Samurai morning activation is mastering mental intention, the process of aligning your thoughts and spirit with the day before it unfolds. A samurai never entered battle without clarity. Likewise, you should not enter your day without direction. Begin by setting a simple intention. One action, one mindset, or one virtue you will embody. This teaches the mind to focus instead of scatter. Use journaling, visualization, or silent reflection to anchor your purpose. Visualize the energy you want to carry, the obstacles you will face, and the strength with which you will overcome them. When the mind begins the day in strategy mode, fatigue loses its power because you are operating from clarity, not chaos. Avoid immediately diving into notifications, distractions, or external noise. Doing so fractures your attention and drains energy before the day begins. Instead, protect your mental space as a sacred zone for building your internal armor. Align your breathing, thoughts, and posture so your spirit stands tall before you even take your first steps outside. With this mental discipline, Samurai morning activation becomes a daily ritual that fuels not just your body, but your determination, helping you enter the world with calm strength, clear purpose, and warrior-like energy. Stress reduction mastery begins with the awareness that stress is not merely an external force, it is an internal reaction shaped by the mind's interpretation of pressure. The samurai understood this deeply. They trained not to eliminate stress, but to control their response to it, treating the mind as a blade that must remain sharp even under the hammer. When stress accumulates unchallenged, fatigue becomes constant, clarity fades, and the spirit weakens. Mastering stress means reclaiming authority over your inner world. It starts with grounding, pausing, breathing, and interrupting the spiral of tension before it consumes your energy. Deep breathing signals safety to the nervous system, shifting you out of survival mode. Mindfulness, even in small moments, strengthens your ability to observe instead of react. This deliberate slowing of the inner storm allows your body to conserve energy that would otherwise be burned by anxiety and overthinking. As you practice recognizing the early signs of stress, tightness, racing thoughts, shallow breath, you build emotional discipline. This discipline transforms stress from a draining force into something manageable, allowing you to move through the day with more energy, stability, and internal command. The next layer of stress reduction mastery is restructuring your environment and habits so they support calm rather than chaos. Much of the stress people experience comes from disorganization, overstimulation, and constant digital bombardment. A warrior maintains clarity by maintaining order, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Create small daily rituals that prevent clutter from overwhelming you. A clean workspace, organized tasks, and a defined structure for your day. These simple actions protect your mind from unnecessary tension. Limit exposure to excessive notifications, multitasking, and emotional triggers that pull you out of your center. When you reduce input, your mind gains space to process and recover. Identify people or situations that drain your energy and create boundaries to protect your mental state. Replace reactive habits with strategic ones. Plan rather than rush. Respond rather than react. Even short breaks throughout the day prevent stress from compounding into fatigue. By intentionally shaping your environment and routines, you remove hidden stressors that steal energy from your body and distort your focus. This allows you to move through your day with steadiness, not agitation. The final layer of stress reduction mastery lies in cultivating inner resilience. The ability to face challenges without allowing them to weaken your spirit. This resilience is built through emotional discipline, perspective, and the acceptance of what cannot be controlled. The samurai embraced the philosophy of Mujo, the impermanence of all things, which allowed them to remain calm, even in uncertainty. When you adopt this mindset, stress loses its grip because you begin to understand that pressure is temporary, setbacks are teachers, and challenges are opportunities for strengthening the self. Journaling can help release emotional weight, while gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Reflecting on past challenges you've already overcome builds confidence in your ability to endure. Strengthening your inner resilience also means caring for your body. Adequate rest, balanced nutrition, and purposeful movement all reinforce emotional stability. When your physical foundation is strong, your emotional world becomes steadier. With this resilience, stress transforms from a draining force into fuel, sharpening your awareness and reinforcing your character. Through consistent practice, stress reduction mastery becomes a source of renewed energy, helping you navigate life's pressure with calm strength, unshakable clarity, and a warrior's unwavering heart. Breath and posture alignment begins with understanding that energy is not only created by what you eat or how you sleep, but by how your body channels life itself. The samurai believed the breath was the bridge between mind and body, the core of presence, power, and calm. When your breathing is shallow, your energy becomes scattered, your mind races, and fatigue creeps in without mercy. When your posture collapses, your organs compress, your lungs shrink, and your internal rhythm weakens. Aligning breath and posture means reclaiming this lost power. Start by standing tall, allowing your spine to lengthen and your chest to open. This is the posture of readiness, not exhaustion. Slow, deep inhalations activate your parasympathetic system, reducing stress while increasing oxygen flow. With every exhale, tension is released, and your mind becomes clearer. This deliberate focus on breath interrupts fatigue patterns and resets your internal state. As you practice throughout the day, during work, walking, or resting, you rebuild your energy from within. Breath and posture become silent tools of strength, grounding you in moments of stress and awakening your vitality in moments of weakness. The next layer of breath and posture alignment is recognizing how modern life constantly pulls the body out of its natural state. Hours of sitting, staring at screens, or engaging in rushed movements collapse the shoulders, tighten the neck, and shorten the breath. This physical compression sends signals of fatigue to the brain, creating a loop where poor posture generates low energy, and low energy reinforces poor posture. To break this cycle, you must build awareness. During the day, pause and realign, shoulders back, neck long, chest open, lower body grounded. Pair this correction with deep breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold briefly, exhale for 4. These micro-agments immediately improve oxygen flow and stabilize your nervous system. Even subtle practices, such as diaphragmatic breathing or gentle spinal stretches, release accumulated tension and restore a sense of internal expansion. Through consistent awareness, your body learns to default to alignment rather than collapse. This strengthens your core, improves circulation, and reduces mental fog. When posture and breath support each other, your energy becomes more stable, your presence sharper, and your ability to handle daily demands significantly stronger. The final layer of breath and posture alignment is turning these practices into a daily discipline, a warrior's ritual for sustaining clarity and stamina. Start the morning by taking a few deep breaths while standing in a strong, grounded posture. Visualize drawing energy upward through your spine and releasing heaviness with each exhale. Throughout the day, use your breath to reset your mental state. Slow breathing to calm your mind, powerful breathing to ignite focus, balanced breathing to maintain stability. Align your posture before important tasks, conversations, or moments of overwhelm. Over time, breath and posture become tools for emotional control. You learn to anchor yourself, even in stressful environments. When the breath deepens, the mind slows. When the posture aligns, the spirit rises. Together, they form a powerful internal system that conserves energy instead of leaking it. This discipline strengthens your presence, how you walk, speak, and carry yourself. It also enhances your endurance by ensuring your body operates efficiently. With daily practice, you'll find that fatigue decreases, focus increases, and your inner strength becomes more accessible. Breath and posture are simple, ancient keys to awakening energy, shaping resilience, and walking through life with a calm, powerful warrior spirit. Movement as fuel begins with the understanding that the body was never designed for stillness. It was built for motion, expression, and flow. The samurai treated movement not merely as exercise, but as a living source of energy, a way to awaken the spirit, sharpen the mind, and regulate the internal fire that sustains vitality. When you remain inactive for long periods, your blood flow slows, your muscles stiffen, and fatigue settles into the body like a heavy mist. Movement breaks that fog. Even the simplest actions, walking, stretching, rotating your joints, reignite circulation and signal your body to generate new energy. This is not about intense workouts or pushing yourself beyond your limits. It is about intentional movement that restores rhythm. The body gathers strength the more it is used, and weakens the more it is neglected. Consistent, moderate movement sends a message to your nervous system. Stay awake, stay ready, stay alive. As you integrate movement throughout the day, your energy begins to rise steadily, rather than in unpredictable bursts. This approach transforms movement into a daily source of vitality, helping you combat sluggishness and reconnect with your inner warrior. The next layer of movement as fuel is understanding that different types of movement unlock different forms of energy. Slow, controlled movements, like stretching, mobility routines, or yoga, release tension stored in your muscles and calm your internal systems. Dynamic movements, like walking, light cardio, or martial-style drills, activate your metabolism, sharpen your alertness, and strengthen your mental focus. Strength training or resistance-based exercises build stability, increase resilience, and improve your posture, all of which directly affect how energized you feel every day. The key is to embrace a combination rather than a single style. Each form of movement feeds a different part of your vitality. When you stay physically active, your hormones balance more effectively, your sleep improves, and your mood becomes steadier. Movement also helps flush out stress chemicals that accumulate during long hours of pressure or worry. This is why even a 5-minute walk can reset your mind. With consistent practice, movement becomes a tool not just for fitness, but for emotional clarity and mental endurance. It becomes a natural antidote to fatigue, helping you maintain energy even in demanding moments. The final layer of movement as fuel involves integrating motion into the rhythm of your entire day rather than confining it to a single workout session. True energy is built through frequency, not intensity. Break long periods of sitting with simple resets. Stand, stretch, rotate your shoulders, breathe deeply or walk briefly. These micro-movements restore circulation, improve oxygen flow, and prevent the sluggishness that accumulates when the body remains still for too long. Treat movement like a ritual of respect toward your body, something you weave into your routine with intention. Move when you wake to ignite your internal systems. Move before challenging tasks to boost focus. Move after stress to release tension. Over time, you begin to rely on movement as a source of clarity, rather than viewing it as a chore. This shift transforms movement into a natural rhythm, a way to keep your mind sharp, your emotions grounded, and your energy stable. When you use movement strategically and consistently, your body becomes lighter, your thoughts clearer, and your spirit more alive. Movement turns from an obligation into a power source, helping you walk through life with vitality, strength, and the steady confidence of a disciplined warrior. Digital overload control begins with recognizing that your mind was never designed to process endless streams of information, alerts, noise, and stimulation. Modern life bombards you with digital demands that drain energy faster than physical labor ever could. The samurai lived with deliberate focus, choosing what entered their awareness with precision. Today, every notification, every scroll, every pop-up steals a fragment of your attention, scattering your mental energy until you feel exhausted without understanding why. Digital overload control is the practice of reclaiming your focus from this flood. It starts with awareness, realizing how often your mind is pulled away, how frequently you reach for your device without intention, and how these small interruptions accumulate into overwhelming fatigue. By reducing digital noise, silencing non-essential notifications, and creating intentional boundaries, you protect your mental space. This discipline allows your energy to return to you instead of leaking into distraction. When your attention becomes focused instead of fragmented, your mind gains clarity, your stress decreases, and your inner strength rebuilds. The warrior sharpens his blade. You sharpen your mind. The next layer of digital overload control is restructuring how you interact with technology so it serves your purpose rather than hijacking your energy. Begin by scheduling specific moments for checking messages, social media, and digital tasks, instead of allowing them to interrupt your day randomly. This shifts you from being reactive to being intentional. Reduce your screen brightness in the evening and avoid heavy digital use before sleep, as excess stimulation disrupts your internal rhythm and weakens your rest. Identify your biggest digital drains: constant scrolling, doom watching, mindless notifications, and replace them with purposeful actions. Use focus modes, limit distracting apps during work hours, and curate your digital environment to support clarity. If certain platforms trigger stress or comparison, take distance from them. Your digital world must align with your values, not sabotage them. By regaining control over your attention, you free mental bandwidth that was previously lost to endless micro-distractions. This restored focus translates directly into higher energy, better mood, and improved productivity. Technology should amplify your strengths, not consume it. The final layer of digital overload control is cultivating mental discipline strong enough to resist the pull of distraction and reclaim your presence. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone impulsively, you strengthen your inner command. This discipline is similar to the samurai's practice of stillness, remaining centered even when surrounded by chaos. Build daily habits such as device-free mornings, silent hours, or tech-free zones where your mind can breathe without interruption. Replace digital stimulation with grounding activities, mindful breathing, journaling, reading, or simply sitting in silence. These practices recalibrate your nervous system, lowering stress and restoring calm energy. When your mind is no longer overloaded, your thoughts become clearer, your creativity increases, and your emotional stability returns. Over time, you realize that fatigue was not caused by lack of strength, but by constant digital fragmentation. By mastering digital control, you regain sovereignty over your awareness, your energy becomes steady, your mood becomes lighter, and your productivity becomes sharper. This discipline restores your connection to the present moment, allowing you to move through life with calm power, unwavering focus, and the centered spirit of a modern warrior. The rest rebuild rituals begin with the understanding that restoration is not laziness but strategy. The samurai knew that a blade used without care loses its edge, and the same is true for the human spirit. Fatigue often arises not from working too hard, but from never pausing with intention. True rest is not simply collapsing on a bed or scrolling through distractions. It is a deliberate process of recharging the mind, body, and spirit. Rest rebuild rituals teach you to create sacred pauses throughout your day and night, moments where your system can reset, release tension, and regain strength. This means prioritizing deep, uninterrupted rest rather than fragmented breaks. It means stepping away from overstimulation, breathing deeply and allowing your mind to settle. Even short intervals of mindful rest, 5 minutes of silence, gentle stretching, or closing your eyes and breathing slowly, can restore your internal energy. When rest becomes intentional rather than accidental, your body repairs faster, your mind clears, and your spirit grows more resilient. These rituals transform recovery into a disciplined practice, ensuring you are not just resting, but rebuilding. The next layer of rest-rebuild rituals is honoring the body's natural cycles of exertion and recovery. Every moment of effort creates microscopic wear on your muscles, your focus, your emotions. Without deliberate rebuilding, this wear compounds until exhaustion becomes a permanent state. Create daily rituals that help the body restore itself. Warm baths, stretching sessions, breath work, or light evening movements that signal your nervous system to shift from alertness into healing mode. Reduce evening stimulation and dim the environment to prepare your mind for deeper rest. Pay attention to the signals of fatigue, tightness, irritability, mental fog, and respond with restorative practices instead of pushing through. Gift your body nutrients that support repair, hydration that refreshes your system, and stillness that lets your mind decompress. These rituals do not require long hours, they require consistency. When your body knows that recovery is guaranteed, it functions with greater confidence and endurance. Over time, these practices form a foundation of natural energy, reducing burnout and allowing you to face each day from a place of strength rather than depletion. The final layer of rest-rebuild rituals is cultivating a mindset that values recovery as much as action. Many people feel guilty resting, believing it slows progress. Yet the samurai understood that rest sharpens performance and preserves spirit. Shift your perspective. Rest is preparation for greater strength, not avoidance. Build rituals that restore your emotional world, journaling your thoughts at night, practicing gratitude, or releasing the burdens of the day through breathwork. These inner practices reduce mental tension and support deeper physical restoration. Consider weekly resets where you disconnect from noise, engage in reflective silence, or spend time in nature, allowing your mind to breathe freely. Honor your limits without seeing them as weaknesses. When you rebuild intentionally, you create a powerful cycle: effort, recovery, growth. This rhythm supports your long-term energy, mental stability, and emotional resilience. With disciplined rest, you wake clearer, think faster, and move with greater purpose. Over time, rest-rebuild rituals evolve into a powerful source of renewal, allowing you to rise every day with the calm confidence, restored strength, and sharpened spirit of a warrior who never neglects the forge within. As we stand together at the crossroads of exhaustion and empowerment, remember this: true strength is forged not in endless struggle, but in disciplined balance. Like the samurai who tempers steel with fire and patience, your energy is shaped by the choices you make daily. How you breathe, move, eat, rest, and guard your mind against distraction and stress. Machiritale. The path to stopping fatigue is not a quick fix, but a lifelong commitment to mastering your inner rhythm, honoring your body, and sharpening your spirit. Each pillar we've explored today is a tool in your arsenal, a deliberate act of self-respect and resilience. Embrace these rituals as the code of your own Bushido, your way of energy, focus, and endurance. Know that fatigue will always try to whisper lies of defeat, but your will, like Hagane no Ishi, can stand unbroken. I invite you to carry this warrior spirit forward. Commit to the journey and share your progress with this community by commenting, engaging, and growing alongside fellow fighters. Together we forge ourselves anew, stronger, clearer, unstoppable. The power to transform your tiredness into lasting vitality lies within you. Now, rise, sharpen your will, and live with the unwavering strength of a true warrior.